Let's rather start at the back. The interior in here looks very familiar because this is the same interior that you'll see in the 3 Series, 140, 240, M40i, and maybe even a little bit of Supra as well. Having said that, it is a BMW interior, so that means you get very comfortable seats, a fantastic seating position, a very plush feeling steering wheel that can be found on most of BMW's performance models, and a couple of new things on the interior that's quite interesting. Open driver's window.
I will open the driver's window.
Close driver's window. That's new. Another nifty little feature is this 3D view over here, which allows me to look at the car from all sorts of different angles and even shows the wheel turning. There's also a car wash mode, which helps me guide the car into the wash bay without curbing those wheels. For a coupe, the BMW is very spacious inside. I'm so comfortable inside here right now, and even the back seats, unlike some of its competitors, are designed for full-size individuals. In the front here, you've got this little compartment where you can charge your phone wirelessly. It also has USBs over here, and 2 mini ports at the back. Having said that, if I do try and plug something in here and use my phone at the same time, it's a little bit cramped inside there. As you can tell, it's a very cold and rainy day in Cape Town, and on a day like today, X-Drive might not be such a bad idea. This car comes with BMW's 3-litre turbocharged engine, which has 275 kilowatts and 500 Newton meters of torque. Now, you do get a little bit of extra power, 8 kilowatts to be exact, from the 48-volt system. Now, 8 kilowatts might not sound like a lot, but when it comes to filling in those little spaces in between when overtaking and accelerating, it feels better than the M140i and M40i. Fuel economy on the BMW is rated at a meager 6.8 to 7.2 liters per 100, and again, when driving like this, it's very easy to get those numbers. The steering on the BMW is variable speed. So what that means is at parking speeds, the wheels turn fast, but on roads like the one we're about to hit now, you get a little bit more precision and accuracy with smaller movements. The engine is one of BMW's finest moments. It's the B58 found in many of this car's siblings. It is very smooth and revs all the way to the red line. It's very much Jekyll and Hyde though, because it can cruise at highway speeds, it can cruise around in town, but it can also be a performance car when you need it to be. Because this is a BMW, of course it handles well. Even on a road as slippy as this one over here, it's absolutely effortless when wanting to go fast and gather up lots of speed. It's a very, very fast car, and that leads me to my next statement. BMW says this car does 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds, right? And I think they're lying. This is much faster than 4.5 seconds to 100, that's for sure. That feels much faster than 4.5 seconds. Some overseas publications have got it to as little as under 4 seconds to 60 miles an hour. Brakes too. Work. The BMW M440i is very good at 2 things. 1, it can drag race really well. And 2, it's an excellent sports GT tourer. What it isn't is the ultimate driving machine. For that, you might want an M4. For everything else, there's always this.
Where's your heart at with this? Because obviously having driven the previous 440, you know, the 440 for me represented a perfect car for if you didn't want an M4, you know, you still wanted a 6-cylinder, still rear-wheel driven, it still had excitement to it. And personally, after driving the 440i, I felt it was a little bit clinical. It was very good at what it does. You know, that X-Drive system works like a bomb, and you actually can't fault the car, but it almost feels like just this little bit missing, right?
I think it's aimed at the client. The client is a completely different client compared to who's buying an M4 compared to who's buying a 420. So it appeals, yes, I think people want the sure-footedness of, you know, a fast car, and now that they've added the X-Drive system as well. So it makes it clinical. I fully understand what you get, but I think the customer that's going to be buying this car isn't a hooligan like us. He's not going to want to, I want to how sideways this car's going to go. So that's the type of clientele that it's aimed at. With regards to the grille, this is the car that I actually, as a BMW driver, because we own BMWs, and when I saw the car, I hated it. I thought, what on earth are they doing? And you know, following the car online and seeing it in the flesh even, I was like, ugh, I just couldn't get over the grille. Then someone said, oh no, it's because they're going back into, you know, their history, and if you go back into the history, the design makes sense, and that's when it starts to, you go, oh, it actually isn't that bad, because I'm part of the unfortunate people that actually think it's good looking now.
But looking at it without journalist eyes, it is a very good vehicle.
Yeah.
In the segment though, what would you guys think? I still think the C43 is more special than the M440i.
True.
Right?
But when the updated version of the C43, so C53 or whatever it is, comes once the new coupe is launched, I think it's probably going to be in a similar vein to this. It's probably going to be quite desensitized, because remember, C43 now is still previous gen, which competed with the 440, which was amazing.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'd probably have a highly spec C43, which is high praise considering I'm such a BMW person.
Yes.
But I love that sound. I love the rawness, that gearbox.
But why do you love the sound? Because it sounds like an old school BM.
Yeah.
As soon as they went 6-cylinder, you're like, oh my goodness, that sounds like an E46, you know, or E36. Wow, I'm even getting tripped up because of, you know, it sounds like cars that you heard in while you were growing up.
Yeah.
That's why you would go for, and that's one of the cars that I'd consider as well.
Guys, they're shouting at me in my ear. They're telling us we're out of time. But can you believe it? Just like that, half an hour show is gone. Thank you. Thank you. This has been a proper petrol head show. I really enjoyed this, guys. And I'm pretty sure our audience also enjoyed this. It's nice to hear differing opinions.
Mr. Technical here as well.
Exactly. It's always a Nwamba Oreo that just makes it work quite nicely. Can you see it? I can say that because I'm the top layer or the bottom layer of the Oreo. John says that. It's a different story.
Yeah.
But guys, once again, thank you so much for joining us. John, Richard, thank you very much.
Thanks, it's
Cool.
And of course, we hope you guys enjoyed today's show. And remember to follow us on all our social media platforms using the handle Ignition TV. And don't be shy to tag us on any cool motoring content that you come across. Be sure to tune in same time, same place next week, because we've got another jam-packed episode lined up for you.
Next week on Ignition GT, we get to live like the wealthy 1%ers in the Audi S8 sedan. We get a taste of the new Nissan Magnite, and the sporty Kia Rio hatchback gets a facelift. All this and more in an all-new episode of GT next week.